Okay, once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, all of you from different places. The wonders of technology, the siddhi of being able to be present in different places and speaking in different languages. This is a siddhi that has been accomplished by our collective karma, as much as the pandemic is the result of our collective karma. So, understanding interdependence is an important point in the Buddha's teachings. So we meet once a month, thanks to the initiative of James at the Drigong Dhamma Chakra Center in Singapore, which initiated this program. And so also part of the interdependence is James's effort to ensure that we can have this circumstance. So thank you for that as well. And most, if not all of us, also are connected to this practice in the sense of transmission through His Eminence Trisab Rinpoche. And as you all know, this particular cycle of practice is connected to the current Trisab Rinpoche because the previous Trisab Rinpoche is the recipient of this cycle of teachings, practices, during a very difficult time, as we all know, in the history of Tibet, which is when things change tremendously in Tibet. And so it was during a very difficult time that the previous Trisab Rinpoche, who was the regent who identified and successfully enthroned our current two Kyabgans. So also Rinpoche asked that I share whatever I know, whatever I'm able to share with you through this particular series. So it's also thanks to Rinpoche's transmission and Rinpoche's continued support that we are all brought together in this particular mandala, so to say. Then in this lifetime, Trisart Rinpoche especially received this cycle of teachings from Kyabje Gajen Nubar Rinpoche, Kyabje Nubar Rinpoche, who is in Nepal. Kyabje Nubar Rinpoche himself received this personally from the previous Trisart Rinpoche. So this is also part of those causes and conditions, part of the lineage. I'm not sure if all of you have had the opportunity to meet Kyabje Nubar Rinpoche. If you have not, I urge you to find a way, well, after the pandemic and everything is safe, to find your way to Nepal to meet Rinpoche. Rinpoche is really an amazing teacher by his quiet and humble presence, completely the embodiment of bodhicitta. So now let us start from the very beginning with let us start with what's known as the ngondro, or the foundational practices for this particular cycle. So the particular ngondro for this cycle consists of the practice of refuge, the practice of generating bodhicitta, the practice of vajrasattva purification, and the practice of offering mandala. These four foundational practices are called the extraordinary foundations. So we all know that the extraordinary foundations need to be supported by the common foundations. And the common foundations are what's known as the four contemplations, four thoughts that turn the mind. Turn the mind in what way? Reverse or turn the mind from the distractions of samsara, from the confusions of samsara. We're saying that we want to turn away from that so that we don't continuously get hooked by the confusions and the distractions of samsara. So those four contemplations, they are the fact of us having obtained this precious human life, complete with the 8 freedoms and the 10 endowments. So that's the first of the 4. When we evaluate, so to say, when we think of our current life, by using the 8 freedoms and the 10 endowments as the standard of measurement, then we have to say, oh my gosh, what I have right now is such a wonderful thing, such an amazing opportunity, such a great opportunity. So recognizing that, in a way, whatever problems that come our direction, if we always remember how we have the 8 freedoms and 10 endowments, then no matter what difficulty that arises in our life, whether in the workplace, whether in the family, whether in relationships, whether in finances, anything, we say, oh wait, I have the 8 freedoms and the 10 endowments. So whatever comes, it's not a big deal. It's not a big issue. So in this way, we can maintain a joyful mind, a mind of gratitude, and more importantly, a stable mind that cannot be blown around so easily. Now, if instead of the 8 freedoms and 10 endowments, right, instead of using that as the standard of measurement, if this is a precious human life or not, if instead of that we say, oh, instead of 8 freedoms and 10 endowments, it's 2 vehicles, 1 city home and 1 country home, 1 boat, and 6 vacations a year, and ideally a son and a daughter, and the son wanting to be a doctor and the daughter wanting to be an engineer, if we look at, instead use that as the standard of measurement, then all kinds of ups and downs. Your son will say, no, I want to be a poet. It's like, oh my God, I have to feed this until I'm dead. How are you going to feed yourself as a poet, right? And the fact of having gained these 8 freedoms and 10 endowments, the Buddha said, is as rare as seeing stars in the daylight sky. Or as difficult as taking a handful of dry peas, beans, and throwing them on the wall and expecting this peas to stick on the wall. except for maybe walls of old Tibetan temples. They're kind of very sticky because there's a lot of butter. But most walls, if you throw peas on them, they're not going to stick. So recognizing this wonderful, amazing condition that we have, which we all have. If you're here listening to these teachings, you have the 8 freedoms and 10 endowments. Yeah? Recognizing that, then we say, so what should I do with this? Well, we should seek safe, reliable guidance so that we can use this opportunity to gain complete freedom from samsara. So we turn to the true objects of refuge. And so you see how this common preliminary supports the first uncommon preliminary. So also supporting this, then the next common preliminary is to contemplate on impermanence, uncertainty, change. It says in one of our Ngondro texts, one of our Mahamudra Ngondro text, it says, our life is like a drop of dew on a blade of grass. It will easily be lost. So don't waste your time, when you recognize this, in meaningless activities. The basic activities of maintaining our lives and maintaining the lives and the welfare of those who we are responsible for, that we have to do, of course. But beyond that, we should recognize, what are these meaningless things that we get caught up in again and again and again and again, and give up on that, stop that. Claudia, yeah. So in fact, in terms of meaningless activities, ultimately, all activities that are motivated by benefiting ourselves only They are meaningless from that perspective, because as long as our actions are only guided by our own self-interest, in the end, the fruit that they produce are going to be unsatisfactory, rotten. So recognizing that, in a way you can say then this second common preliminary will support the next extraordinary preliminary or foundation, which is bodhicitta. So now recognizing how unreliable, how unpredictable our life is going to be. One moment we're fine, next moment we're not fine. So don't waste time on meaningless activities, but instead turn our efforts to actualizing bodhicitta. So that's the second common preliminary supporting the second uncommon preliminary. The third common preliminary is the preliminary of reflecting on the unmistaken nature of cause and effect. Happiness is the result of skillful actions. Suffering is the result of unskillful actions. Seeing how that is, then we become more and more careful about the choices that we make. And the choices that we make not only produces the results when the time is right, on top of producing the results, they also produce, they are also, as we say, habit forming. So this is the karmic propensities. So the issue with karma is, and the issue with negative karma, and of course also with positive karma, is that not only do actions produce results, choices end up with consequences, but it also produces a habitual pattern, which will then predispose us towards whatever we have been habitualizing. In a way, that's more dangerous than even the direct result of your karma ripening. Because that habitual pattern will predispose you to always angry or always joyful. So this third common preliminary, recognizing how much of how we right now even if right now we make the resolve, I want to practice the Dharma, I want to act skillfully, I want to make the right choices, But this conditioning is so strong, this habit conditioning is so strong. And then when especially negative karma kind of turns up, we get turned completely out of shape. Then sometimes good karma turns up, we also completely got turned out of shape in terms of our commitment to Dharma practice. Things are going so well. Now it's like, oh, I have other things to do. So recognizing that, now we see why it's so important to do purification through Vajrasattva practice. So the third common preliminary directly supports the third uncommon preliminary. The third uncommon preliminary of Vajrasattva purification is not enough to just recite mantra, recite mantra, recite mantra. The four powers needs to be involved. The power of regret or remorse, the power of applying the remedy, which is the Vajrasattva meditation, the power of refuge or reliance, which is relying on the powers of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, who have completely purified all their obscurations. And then finally, the power of resolve, resolving not to continue to create negative karma. So these four powers are necessary. The fourth common foundation is the thought on the contemplation on how the entire six realms of samsara, in the end, even if temporarily, right, the higher realms are better than the lower realms, but ultimately, in all six realms of samsara, there is no real happiness to be achieved. So here it really gets us to not think, oh, things are going pretty well. Maybe this is the God realm. Maybe I'm good now. But no, as long as we're in this cycle of confusion, suffering is involved and you don't know what's going to happen next. And actually, this fourth common preliminary, in my opinion, we have to pay more attention to how the three higher realms are actually not safe. Because the three lower realms, nobody needs to tell you, that they are not good, that they are suffering. That's pretty obvious. So the fourth common preliminary is more about, when things are going so well, things are going so great, right? Yes, now you have your house in the city and house in the country. Now you have a boy and a girl, and the boy says, I'm going to be a doctor, and the girl says, I'm going to be an engineer. And the boy is going to marry a girl, and the girl is going to marry a man, and so you don't have to worry about if they decide to marry something else. So you think, oh, everything is great now, right? Then you get fooled by samsara. You're like, oh, my retirement resources are going to be great. You think it's all reliable. Then you are tricked. So it's the higher realms that you got to be very careful about. So then how do we relate to all these good things that do happen to us, that we want happen to us? This supports the fourth extraordinary preliminary, Mandala Offering. That means all the good that we experience, that we like all here, we offer. We offer to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. We offer for the happiness of all beings. So this is how the Vajrayana method, the Vajrayana method at the Vajrayana level is not necessarily saying you have to throw away all these things. But generally, the less stuck you are with these things, the better. But it says, if these good conditions come, you need to skillfully offer them. And so this is the essence of this mandala offering practice. It's related to the fourth thought that turned the mind. So in the mandala offering, not only the mundane good things that happen to us that we offer, the things that we normally enjoy, we offer, but even on the more advanced states of like meditative practice, experiences of good experiences, blissful experiences, single pointed mind, all these things, even that, we should not get tricked, we should not get sidetracked, we should offer them. Without attachment. In one of the texts that I've been working on with some translators of a teaching by Jigten Sumgyun on the method of turning the four maras, four types of maras, to dispel the four types of mara. The first dispelling is the mara. It says that it warns practitioners. It says, one of the ways in which maras arise for practitioners, like advanced practitioners, he says, it's like they will come in the form of disciples. And they will come in the form of good meditative experiences. So this is warning the Dharma practitioners who are doing well. Oh, lots of disciples are gathered around you. Lots of people are making you offerings. They listen to you, and your own meditative experience is going well. Kyoba Rinpoche warns. He says that's a type of mara, and that type of mara, easily you're going to get hooked, get misled. So here, Mandala Offering is also reminding us, no matter what level we are, oh, your business is going well. Be careful. Offer that. Oh, your Dharma activities, if you are a Dharma teacher, a great master, it's going well. I have 200 centers. I have 2 million disciples, this and that. Be careful. Or if you are in a cave for 20 years and you are meditating and your practice is going so well, Kyopa Rinpoche says, be careful, because that's Mara arising. So here, what is showing us is how we handle success. Success itself is kind of unreliable. How we handle the success. So here, Mandala Offering is actually a method too, to keep reminding and training us. Don't grasp at the good results. Just offer them. Just offer them away. So this is one way of how to relate the four common foundations with the four uncommon foundations. So with that, now we're going to do the formal recitation and practice of the four uncommon foundations. And please try to remember in each of the section how the four common foundations are related to them. So I don't think if you are in the interpretation room, you can hear the chanting for the practice. So if you cannot hear the chanting for the practice in the interpretation room, so maybe you want to come back to the main room, in which case you choose English temporarily so that you can hear the practice and chant along. Jitar lume gyamne gunju su nangtar jugu longu jugu su sangwa zalun tile changju se ngobo dongi dama tare ma changju bardu medra kyamsu ji jidar lume gyamne gunju su nangtar jugu longu jugu su sangwa zalung tile changju se ngobo dongi dama tare ma changju bardu medra gyabsu ji jidar lume gyabne kunju su nangtar jugu longu jugu su sangwa zalung tile changju se ngobo dungi dharma tare ma changju bardu medra gyabsu ji o nangwa jusu madru gorwe nang gyuma gyamshin lokpe lamgo we dro nam gyage nile drejir du zadang kadu nyamga jiru juru mikji zeme shiye semke du jusu madro korwe na gyuma gyamshin lokbe lamgo we drunang gyage nile drachir du tsadang kadu nyamga jirjuru mi jing zeme shiye semke do ho nang wa jusu madro korwe nang gyuma gyamshin lokbe lamgo we drunam gyage nile drajir du tsadang kadu nyamga jijuru meji zeme shiye zemge do jibo lama durje sembane yam yun yam su begye tamki shu korse tome nesa deidrem kun gosun rabgu nongyo jimbo sha chiche megi dazan nangwe so Om Bhadra Sadho 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 Om Vajra Sado Hum, 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 Om Vajra Sado Hum. Jidar nangwa ne ju gedru zu nang tar du je zin zhu shar taru zangwa de tong ka shi me jung ro chu yu ni me rang ri tsa shar wa lo yi lang ni men de di bu lo Rum Chidara Nangwa Na Ju Ge Ju Zo Nang Tar Do Ze Zin Ju Da Sha Ru Sangwa De Tong Ga Shi Me Ju Ru Chu Yu Ni Me Ra Re Tse Shar Wa Lo Ye Lang Ne Men De Di Bu Lo Rum Chidara Nangwa No Ju Ge Ju Zo Nang Tar Do Je Zin Ju Sha Ru Sangwa De Dong Ga Ji Me Ju Ru Chu Yu Ni Me Rang Re Tse Sha Wa Lo Ye Lang Ne Men De De Bu Lo So now temporarily, you might want to go back to your interpretation room so that I can say something about the next part of this practice. The next part of this practice is the first section of the main practice. And this is called the most secret sadhana, which is the practice of Achi as a guru. This practice of Achi as guru is very unusual. Because generally, Achi belongs to the Dharmapala category among the three roots, the guru, the first root, the idams, the second root, and the third root is Dharmapalas, Dakinis, Dharmapalas, Dakas. So generally, Achi belongs to the third group. But in this sadhana, in this cycle of practice, you practice Achi as guru. So this is very unusual. And it is even called, the most secret level of practice. Now, most secret, here, whenever we see the word secret in Vajrayana, we should not instantly think, like CIA or, MI5, MI6, Secret Service. No, it means, in general, it means like the most essential level, the most like heart essence level. But sometimes it does mean secret in the sense of don't or not necessary to kind of openly, indiscriminately talk about it. It does have that sense, yes. So here I want to say, it's what I'm going to say next is my personal opinion. So you can take it or leave it. So in my personal opinion, I think that it is best that we do not open our big mouth and brag about, oh, we have Achi practice, which is like a guru practice. Because there are going to be people who don't understand and cannot accept. How can you take a Dharmapala and turn into a guru practice? Then suddenly you find that you have to defend this, you have to argue with them, and then your own confidence may be also shaking a little bit. So then you expose yourself to all this unnecessary distraction. So we have to take to some degree of seriousness when it says it's the most secret practice. So think of it as the most essential, held inside your heart. So don't go blabber to others. In the worldly way, secrets sometimes, often, secrets are kept because they are shameful. They are things that you want to hide in the worldly way. Here, it's secret in the sense of it's personal. It's heart, kept in the heart. Not to be exposed. In this way, when we keep Achi as guru close to our heart, then the blessing power can be very strong. And you will not expose your relationship to Achi as guru for kind of damage. So the last meeting, I already explained the Guru practice. So now we will do this section of the practice. This week we are going to start looking at the next section, the next main part of this practice. So now we're going to do the practice. And again, if you cannot hear anything in the interpretation room with regards to the chanting, then come back to the main room temporarily. Dāngdēn jīnsūn yīng lā shē chū rū nā tsū jī gyū tam gī shū chā nī nyam shā sar jīn pū tī nam tā gōr lā mā yī dām sān jē dā chāng sēm chū kyūn sū nān chūm sū dā rā shū bār dā lū jē wā trū jē nē Chase zeme kunsan chubin ta rab chu chube suge chubhar yin ge ma gunshi ma jirim puje dhala gyamne gyo shan ma jina Sewa jimpu tuki gongso la Kunsan tome gyao sha ma zin bar Ma yi tuki long ne ma do chi Nyam dang mi lam kang du yin yang rong Go la kie de meng a tse du zo Namo Dharma Dare Mahamudra Siddhi Bala Namo Dharma Dare Mahamudra Siddhi Bala Namo Dhamma 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 Dare Namo Dhamma Dare Mahamudra Siddhi Bala 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 Namo Dhamma Dare Mahamudra
Siddhi Balahum Namo Dhammadare Mahamuda Siddhi Balahum Namo Namo Dhammadare Mahamuda Siddhi Balahum 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 Namo Namo Dhammadare Mahamuda Siddhi Balahum 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 Namo Dhammadare Mahamuda Siddhi Namo Dhammadare Mahamuda Siddhi Balahum 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 Sowa tabe maji guzum le Ozil trude rangi nesum tim Guzun dribda guzun sabun tru Maji oshu rangdang yirme guru Gewadi yiner du da chuku yenchen drum gyune ruwa chigyang malu pa deyi salangu prashu. The next section in the text that I have, I think some of you have a text that might be slightly different, is the Auspicious Verses. So this is like the invoking the blessings of the three roots. Om Swati Chudgu Drashi Pargyurji Shinyon Suda Debo Drana Truba Durje Changchen Dang Pelen Dile Naro So Jinla Jugyu Majeba Jigyu Belama Drashi Gangshi de chen chugi ku Pame yun ten ring chen kya zen ji Ju ju ji ten malu kyab ze pa Gompo pamo drube chashi Ogmi ne ju driguna Patsawe lama rinpoche Guzen danje dampe jebel parjing sunte chen jugi ngaro do tuk tobe mikyo dorje chang pa sanje deye trasi tomar badan tageshe Zabshi troda dumaje duzi dabur impoje damju deyi tashi lapa sumgi gyujanshi mogu tarjin tobar den jimi doba sogi chu Gendun du beta shi shu. So related to this Guru Sadhana, there is a very short talk of Kana Chakra offering section. In general, Kana Chakra practice is for the Vajrayana level, and it is intended primarily to purify the lapses in keeping Vajrayana Samaya. And to fulfill the commitment of practicing the Kana Chakras, especially on the 10th and the 25th day of the lunar calendar. So here it's very short, very simple. And to offer this Kana Chakra, generally you need solids and liquid. So chewable and drinkable. Although sometimes people say, oh, you have to have meat and alcohol to represent the Kana Chakra offerings, especially in the Drigong style, this is considered not necessary. In fact, Kyoba Rinpoche himself actually discouraged the actual use of meat and alcohol. And he follows this in the tradition of Pamodrupa. For example, instead of alcohol, he says, you can mix yogurt with brown sugar as the liquid. So anyway, you can prepare this Kana Chakra. It can be very simple, if you are sincere in your practice of this and wanting to observe this. It can even be like your dinner that you're going to take, but you do it in the form of Kana Chakra, or your lunch, So you have beginning with Ram Yam Kang and Ah Hong. It says here, recite Ram Yam Kang 3 times and Ah Hong three times. Ram Yam Kang is to cleanse the offering, and Ah Hong is to magnify both in terms of the amount and the qualities of the offering. Ram Yam Kam are the seed syllables for fire, wind, and water. So sometimes you will see the Chupan, the one who kind of does the ritual assistant, you can say the Chupan. If it's in a big ritual, you have a Chupan, a ritual assistant, will light a stick of incense and then kind of, do this motion over the offering. That is to represent fire. At the tip of the incense, there's this, burning. So that's to represent the fire. So the fire burns away all the filth, all the unclean aspects of the offering. So that's the syllable Ram. Then Yam is wind, and so often in the Bumpa, so in the Bumpa there's like the peacock feather and the spout, which is dipped in the water. So Yam and Kam usually you just see done like in this way, where the Chupan again will kind of shake the Bumpa, then take the spout out, then just kind of move like this, and they're moving like this. The peacock feather side is like the wind, blowing away all the ashes, right? After you burn something, there's a lot of ash, blow away all of that. Then the water sprinkling is then the third cleanse, completely now. After you sweep away the dust, then you do a mopping, so to say, right? That's also how you clean your floor. First you should sweep before you mop. So then you mop it out with water. Now it's completely cleansed. So the words of this offering here, I think, is very clear. I don't think much needs to be said, except that, as I said, it makes the point. Like in making this offering, may our transgressions and broken samayas be purified. And so may the samayas then now be restored. So may our bond, specifically our bond to our Vajraguru, be kept pure and intact. So on the one hand, may our bond, our union with our Guru be intact, be restored, and then may we be separated from, may we liberate all the obstacles. And the biggest of obstacle is distraction. So may we be free from distractions. And then in this way, may we achieve the common and supreme siddhis, the common and supreme accomplishments. Then we say the mantra for offering the Kana Chakra is Kana Chakra Puja Kahi. Then after saying that mantra, that's when we take. First we offer, now we eat this Kana Chakra. And when we're taking this Kana Chakra, we have to partake of this Kana Chakra in the state of being the Edam. Not in an ordinary state. So in this way, we receive the offering that we are offering. But don't eat all of it. Leave one portion, which we are going to offer to those who are unable to receive this offering when we first offered it, because of their own obstacles, their own obscurations. And so this is called the leftover offering, which is offered with the final mantra here, Uchendra Baling Takahi. So when we say Uchendra Baling Takahi, this remainder offering, in Tibetan called Lakma, this remainder offering, you take outside and toss as an offering to whoever that needs it. So if you do this Kana Chakra or talk offering, it's not like literally at the end of the practice. Actually, it should be inserted after you recite the Guru mantra, Namo Dharma Tare Mahamuda Siddhi Palahung. After you have finished reciting mantra, and before you receive the empowerment, you insert the Kana Chakra section. Then you receive the 4 empowerments. You do the completion stage. Then you do the dedication prayer. Then you do the auspicious blessings. So now let's look at the next section, which is called the Inner Sadhana of the Edam Deity.
Yeah.
The Edam section. So here, the Guru is the most secret level. Then the Edam is the inner. Then later, the next section, the Dakini is the secret. So the order is a little unusual. Usually the order is more secret, then inner. But somehow here, it's the inner comes first. Just to point out. It's not a big deal. Just to point out. So here, in the title of this section, it says, generated instantaneously with perfect recollection. Okay? In English, it says, the Edam, in other words, this inner practice of the Edam deity, the deity is produced instantaneously rather than step by step. In more elaborate Edam practice, basically the Edam practice utilizes the way in which our physical universe and our physical bodies kind of is produced in this world, using the same sequence. The Edam is generated, is produced, is created. So in detailed practices of Edam, it will go step by step like that. Out of emptiness, then there's this, then the palace is formed, and before the palace is formed, the four elements that constitute the divine palace, the different mandalas, the different shapes, the different colors, all of that, step by step by step by step by step. In this case, this generation of the Edam, or the creation of the Edam deity, is called instantaneous. Just in one moment. So it's called the perfect recollection. Recollection is also sometimes translated as mindfulness. And here, what it means is to remember. To remember the Edam. Then in that moment of remembering the Edam, then in that moment, you arise as the Edam. The Edam here is the deity Vajakilaya. But in this particular practice, the form of Vajakilaya is a female form. So in the Tanka that I think some of you have images of that, you can see the image of this this particular form of Vajakilaya is in a female form and is seated, and so it's Achi as Edam, and she holds an iron purba or kila in her hand. I've also heard an explanation where in this section, the Edam is the regular Vajakilaya. So in a way, I think it doesn't matter. So however you have received the instructions of visualizing in this one moment, Vajakilaya, you visualize. Because in the next part of this section, the Achi as Vajakilaya and the specific form will be emphasized again. So in this part, this first part of this Edam, first you are to train and cultivate the pride, so to say, or the confidence of being the Edam. So I would say if you have a regular practice of Vajakilaya especially, then if you are very confident, very familiar with that practice, then you can just in this moment recollect that I am Vajakilaya, and then do the mantra. Now, where does this Edam come from? Well, for one thing, it's the nature of your mind. Ultimately, the Edam is the nature of our mind. Pure mind, Buddha mind. On a more immediate level, the Edam is the embodiment of our bodhicitta. So don't get carried away by wrathful and energy and power and things like that. This is bodhicitta, essentially. So the power and the fierceness is the fierceness of bodhicitta. Bodhicitta that doesn't give up so easily. Bodhicitta that is, uncompromising. It's not uncompromising other people, Sometimes those of us who practice wrathful deities become very uncompromising of other people. It's uncompromising in our own commitment to benefiting others. But that also doesn't mean, you impose on other people and say, hey, I want to benefit you, and shake them. And it's like, pay attention to me. I'm trying to benefit you. No, it has nothing to do with forcing on other people. It means we don't give up. We don't get confused as to why we are doing these things, why we are practicing. So in the words in this section, again very short, it says Vajakilaya, the deity of enlightened activities. So here, calling Vajakilaya the deity of enlightened activities is because in the 5 Buddha families, with the enlightened body, speech, mind, qualities, and activities, these 5, Vajakilaya is said to be the embodiment of the 5th enlightened activities. So Buddhas are said to have enlightened body, enlightened speech, enlightened mind, enlightened qualities, and enlightened activities. So Vajakilaya is said to be embodiment of enlightened activities. For example, in the Yangzab system, the main deity is Hayagriva. So then Hayagriva is said to be the embodiment of enlightened speech. And so here Vajakilaya arises as the fundamental nature of appearances and possibilities. This is one translation, but another way of translating is to say Vajakilaya is the basic nature of both the appearance of things as well as the essence of things. Nangsi in Tibetan. The essence of things is emptiness. meaning lack of inherent existence, lack of self. So that's the wisdom aspect. Then the appearance aspect is, in this case, the compassionate aspect. As long as we are confused, then the appearance aspect is samsara. The more we are free from confusion, then more and more the appearance aspect is going to be the mandala and the deities. Then here it says, since primordial time, that means always. The Samaya and wisdom deities are inseparably one. This is from the sadhana, it says this. Since primordial time, the Samaya and wisdom deities appear inseparably as one. So what this is referring to is, again, in more elaborate sadhanas, first you visualize yourself as the deity, then this is called the Samaya deity. Then the Samaya deity gives out light to invite what's known as the wisdom deity, which in this case is always said, Samaya deity is our current level of realization. Wisdom deity is the actual perfected deity. So then through ritual, through visualization, we see these two coming together, dissolving into one. So this is a skillful method to train in the conviction or the conviction and the confidence that we are deity. But here, because this is a instantaneous self-generation, then no need to, I am at this level of attainment, so-called the Samaya deity. There is the perfected level over there, and the two has to come together. Here it's saying, now and later, here and there, not yet so advanced, completely perfected, are ultimately non-dual. So to practice this, I would say it takes a lot of guts. You have to have, confidence. Like real confidence, which you can develop. Not pretending, Pretending is maybe as a preliminary, but we really have to work on increasingly developing this confidence. And this confidence, the difference between like a confidence that comes from pretending, there's that kind of confidence, which ultimately not reliable, and the confidence that comes from making effort to really clear our kleshas, our afflictive emotions. Because we are already Buddha, there's no doubt about that. The only problem is that our kleshas, our afflictive emotions, are hindering this Buddha nature to be realized and to be actualized. So how do we gain confidence that we are Buddha? Well, there is a very effective way to do that rather than sit around and wait. Oh, maybe one of these days I will start to feel like I'm the deity. Well, if you don't work on giving up, leaving behind the kleshas, it will not magically happen. If it will magically happen, there's no need for the path. Buddhas don't have to come. Centers can close. Everybody will have an easier time. That's not how it works, you know. And so then, knowing that this deity is the embodiment of bodhicitta, then also understand from another perspective. If you feel like, you know, oh, I cannot, you know, my visualization is not clear, my confidence is not strong, that means we need to work on bodhicitta. Yes, some familiarity with how the Edam looks is helpful, but I can tell you, you know, staring and staring and staring at the picture is not going to make you a more real Edam. In one of the tantras, it says, you know, the practice of the yogis is not to turn into statues and paintings. It says the practice of the yogis is to turn into embodied bodhicitta. Specifically, this tantra is saying, you know, when we talk about visualize yourself as the deity, visualize yourself as the deity, most of us are striving to become statues or paintings. So the tantra says, you know, it's not the practice so that you become a statue or a painting, but it's to strive to become bodhicitta embodied. So with that, now let's do this section. Again, if you cannot hear the chanting, you might want to go back to the main room temporarily. The translators themselves, they can hear me, but I don't know if the rest of you in the rooms, in the translation room, can hear me or not. Om Nasi Shishin Tenle Purubela Geji Nila Dangsa Demedu Yene dam ye yerme chikdu se Nada du ton du chi dir tor Benza gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pe 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 Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pen Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pet Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pen Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pet Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pen Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pet Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pen Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pet Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pet Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pet Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pen Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pet Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pen Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pet Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pen Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pet Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pen Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pet Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pen Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pet Bajra gile gilaya sarva beng nembang hong pen Bajra gile gilaya pa sarva beng nembang hong pet Bajra gile gilaya 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 sarva beng nembang hong pet. here in this Edam section, you can say that associated or appended to this section are the activities related to the Edam. And specifically, two main activity. One is to liberate, to free ourselves and others from the obstacles, and to repel, that means to turn back obstacles. So Chösar Rinpoche, Kyabje Nupa Rinpoche, they have all said, like this next two section, we can do the chant, we do the visualization, but we should not think, that there are real enemies out there that we're trying to destroy, because the language is the language of like enemies, destroying. But we have to be very careful not to think, these are like related to problems that we've encountered out there. The real destroying is destroying our kleshas, and ultimately to destroy our self-grasping. Then temporarily, if we don't have a lot of kind of more stable practice of the conviction, the confidence that we are embodied bodhicitta, we are Edam, then temporarily this next two section is not necessary to practice. So from here we can go to the completion stage, the dissolution stage for the Edam practice. In the English text, this is on page 8. I don't know in the other text where, if the interpreters can help look for it, it's the concluding dissolution stage. It begins in the Tibetan, it's Latso Namkya Namkyang Tsomo Kula Du. Latso Namkyang Tsomo Kula Du. On page 8 in the English text that I have. So there it says, all the deities dissolve into the body of the main goddess, meaning the main Vajrakilaya. Because as you recite the mantra, right, you're also to see all beings as turning into Vajrakilaya, and the whole world turning into the Pure Land of Vajrakilaya. So now all the Pure Land, all aspects of the Pure Land, all beings dissolve into the main, yourself as Vajrakilaya, in this special female form. Then she dissolves into the Hong syllable. So her outer form dissolves into this Hong syllable in the heart. Then slowly the Hong syllable dissolves. And it dissolves into, it says, the non-conceptual expanse, which is the Dharmakaya state. then remaining a few moments in the Dharmakaya state, then after that, once again you reappear in the form of Vajrakhilaya. This is to say, even after you finish your practice, you finish your meditation, you get up from your cushion, you should not turn back into an ordinary being and start fighting and worrying and, and doing negative things, You should carry this experience of being the deity into everyday life. No need to, go around town taking the bus or driving your car, holding your kila, okay? Please don't do that. One time, Onto Rinpoche was saying, he said, in Europe, I met this guy who said, that he's busy polishing, not polishing, but sharpening his kila. Like he has bought a purba, and then he thinks that, it should be sharpened into a sharp knife. So he's busy sharpening. So Rinpoche said, he was a little bit afraid of this guy. This is to totally misunderstand, what the practice is about. People start thinking, the kila and then it needs to be sharpened, That's because the text says, that is so sharp, that it cuts anything that touches it. So then people conceptually think, I need to go sharpen my purba, No, that's talking about the sharpness of your mind. That whatever touches this wisdom mind, this knowing mind, is shredded. Meaning all confusions are destroyed upon touch. And the moment you're knowing, this rikpa, the moment this knowing, this non-conceptual Buddha knowing, whatever it touches, it shreds, it cuts, it liberates. What is this weapon? This weapon is wisdom mind, knowing mind, the mind that knows. This citta, in the Theravada forest tradition, they say the citta. In Tibetan, we say rikpa. In the context of Vajrakhilaya, we say the weapon. What is the weapon? Wisdom mind, knowing mind. Knowing without obscuration, knowing without confusion. That is the secret weapon. Not a hidden killer, in your pocket. That is sharpened. You accidentally is going to cut yourself. Then you have to go to the hospital and try to explain to the doctor what's going on. Then you arise again in the form of Vajrakhilaya, then again do dedication. So for auspiciousness, we're going to do this now. La zo nam kyang zo mo ko la du zo mo tu ke hong la ye la dim ne shab kyu go ba go da te le ne na da dra wa mi me ing su ye la yang ki la ya I guru guru. Adiye nirdu da idam lazo drumgyu ne dowa jigya malupa deye sala gopar shu. So we have passed the time, 5 minutes, but I think let's leave like 10 minutes or so for questions. So if there are any questions, please ask. If you're asking in the Spanish room or the Chinese room, then I need the translators to come back to the main room and translate the question for me so that I can answer.
Can I go first? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
yes, I can hear you very well, Anila.
Okay. Can you go to page 3? The line before the last line. Can you chant that line, please?
Page 3.
Oh, we are on different texts. Sorry. The first set of dedication, that is the fourth, offering of the mandala. The first line of offering the mandala.
Drum Chitar Nangwa. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes, yes.
Chitar Nangwa, right? No chu kedro cho.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. I have an extra syllable.
Oh, okay.
Let's go
Yes.
back. The line above the mantra of Vajrasattva. Same page, the mantra of Vajrasattva.
Yeah, Chiche Megi Datang Nangwa cho.
Okay, did that translation get cleaned up? When Rinpoche was giving this talk.
Yeah, Chiche Migi. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Datang Nangwa cho, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he change the, did you guys change the translation to
No.
so pure and clean, not appearance, but permission?
Appearance, permission. I don't have appearance or permission here.
These henceforth I will not do. Bestow your clean.
Oh, yeah, you have a different translation. Here I have, I will not do them in the future. Please grant the experience of complete purity.
Okay, all right. Okay, good. And then the following page, this is the main topic. First comes the practice of the very secret. On the seat of layered lotus and moon is the Dharmakaya Great Mother, Mistress of Space, Choki Drone. Right there on the lotus and moon, is there an appearance of Prajaparamita that transforms into the mother?
No, this is just Achi, but Achi in the form of Prajnaparamita. Yeah, so just the Great Mother Dharmakaya, but no specific Prajnaparamita. That is, you have a completely different translation.
I can't give it up. I have
But it's just a different translation. There is no Prajnaparamita in the Tibetan. Chuku Yumchen, Chuku Dharmakaya Yumchen, Great Mother. Sometimes Great Mother is another word for Prajnaparamita, but not necessarily so.
Okay. All right. So that's good. We have the same translation, by the way. The line you just read is the same as this one.
No, the line that I have here in my translation is the Great Mother Dharmakaya, the Queen of Space.
Okay, I have it very similar, but then in my own handwriting, I have Rinpoche recommends visualizing Prajnaparamita first.
Well, it's the form that is in the Tanka,
Okay.
Sister Susan Tan, in the background, she disappeared, but in her background is the picture of the Guru the Guru Achi. There.
Yeah, no, I have it in front of me.
Yeah.
Okay. And lastly, we just did the dedication. So when we arise again, arise
Yes.
as Klaya, is it Klaya or Vajra Kumara that arises again?
No difference in this context.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just that sometimes in some sadhanas, they make a difference between the two. And when they do make a difference, it's basically two armed or many armed. So Vajakumara is two armed. But in this case, in the Tibetan, it did not say anything about Vajakumara. It says Layang Kilaya I Kurugyur.
Okay.
So again, it says you are Kilaya. It doesn't.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right, sure.
Guru, there's
Yes.
a question in the chat room. I summarized it. So is that both food and drinks to be offered outside, to bring to outside to offer to other beings after the whole
Yes,
show?
yes, yes. Just as the chewable and the drinkable is offered and then consumed, then likewise when you take out, that is also offered. But then often how it's done is you pour a little bit of the liquid into the remainder food, and then you take that out together.
Okay, there's only this question in the chat room.
Okay. Other questions? I will try to answer. Don't know if I have the answer to everyone's questions, but
There's a second question in the chat room.
Sure.
Is there any contradictions if I maintain myself as Achi Vajakilaya godless if sometime I am practicing Guru Rinpoche as Guru?
No. Buddhists don't fight. Buddhists have single nature. Sentient beings on a hot day need this deity, on a cold day need that deity, daytime need that deity, nighttime need that deity. This is just the compassion of Buddhas appearing in different forms to benefit different beings at different times. So don't think that there's any contradiction. So don't worry.
Maybe we need Brother Yao to translate to the Chinese group. There's a lot of people asking about the Chinese sadhana text, where there's a lot of people also been kind to share already in the chat room. But I think because of the file is not named under Chinese, people do not get it. So Yao, you please tell everyone is in the chat room. They can just download. There's been twice people been uploaded. And then there's a couple of questions people been asking about the chat on the Chinese text as well. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
There's the next question. Do
Yes.
we visualize the mantra gallons during Edam meditations?
If you want, you can, but this text don't specify because it's so kind of essential, In a way, this text, right, when it practices the Guru, when it practices the Edam, It emphasizes, you can say, the nature of mind level of practice. So rather than elaborate visualization, like going out, like coming in, like turning around, it emphasizes more on abiding in the nature, in the natural state. Of course, if you want to visualize, yes, you can. But it emphasizes more holding your Rigpa, abiding in the state of Rigpa, and just chant the mantra. Holding relative and ultimate bodhicitta together. This is Lojong language. Lojong language, Mahamudra language, Rigpa language. Language different, meaning same. So Lojong language, holding relative and ultimate bodhicitta, recite the mantra. Remaining in the natural state, recite the mantra. Holding Rigpa, recite the mantra. This is the style here.
There's one more question. What is the translation of Maraya? There is
that is the section that we have not covered yet, and don't worry, I will, the next time we meet, I will go through that section. But quickly, here it means be gone, the Maras. Mara, the demons, so to say. It says the demons be gone, go away. Maraya. Sometimes Maraya, pe, like be gone, absolutely gone. Any question in Spanish or in Chinese? Okay. Bueno.
So there's a question in related to earlier. How about the mantra will of Achi Guru Edam Dakini and Protector?
I don't really know that.
Yeah.
Sorry, cannot help. Does anyone know what that means?
Yeah, it was hanging questions.
Okay.
How about?
I don't know. Yeah, sorry. If the person asking the question can elaborate what is the context of that question, then maybe I can guess an answer. But offhand, I don't really understand. Maybe I'm just missing something.
Then there's the next question is in Chinese on our show offerings. Is there any specific directions that we have to put that the offering outside?
No. Do it with care. Do it with kindness. Do it with compassion.
No more questions from the chat room.
Okay, good. So I think we should end here this evening. Some of you have to go work tomorrow morning. It's getting late. Again, I'm glad that we have this opportunity to spend some time gaining some familiarity with this particular practice.
So we will learn more, all the other sections, bit by bit by bit. We have to stabilize our practice from level to level to level. Otherwise, we get so much information, then we have no experience, and information cannot solve problems. So finally, let's make a final dedication, the bodhicitta dedication, because
Guru,
yes.
sorry, there's one more question coming in. Is the Edam practice the only portion of the set of practice where we visualize ourselves as Achi, the rest of us frontal visualizations?
We shall see. Chanju sem chorim puji ma ge banam ge gyuchi ge ba nyam ba me ba yang gonen gong du bel war shu. I want to share with you guys here an upcoming program. I know all of you have a lot of teachings to attend, access to a lot of great teachers, teachers with a lot of realization and experience. But in case you are still looking for things to do, then maybe better than watching Netflix or YouTube videos of cats or whatever. Through a collaboration between Urban Dharma in North Carolina and Drigong Dharma Chakra, the initiative of James in Singapore, I will start a series that will go on for a while on the Bodhicattva. It will only be in English because it will be rather long if we try to translate. And it's a long-term commitment that I'm not going to burden our kind interpreters with. So that is the link to putting your email on the mailing list for this program. Putting your email there doesn't assume that you're making a commitment to attend, but if you want more information. So that link, if you click it, I just shared, it should open up, I think. Let me click and make sure it it opens to something. Oh yes, yeah. So if you click that, then it says enter your email. Then you can enter your email. This series will start in May. Exact date in May is unclear. It will basically be Tuesday and Saturday for the Western Hemisphere, morning. For Asia, in the evening. So the idea is, of course, not everyone can attend on Sunday morning for Western Hemisphere. Some people have to work, but we will make sure that we put up the recording in time for you to watch before the Saturday session. Yeah, so it's designed that way. So it will be twice a week for many, many, many weeks, hopefully beyond the pandemic. We pray that the pandemic will be pacified if we all do our part to stop the virus from mutating. There are many ways we can do to stop that.
Do whatever you're comfortable to do. Not just prayers, your actions. Do whatever you're comfortable to do. I know some of you are not comfortable taking the vaccine. If you're not comfortable, then I'm not going to have an argument with you. But if you are comfortable, I have taken it myself. And of course, many of our teachers, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Sakya Tenzin, many of our teachers. So anyway, this is your. But the main thing is, we really need to not give the virus more opportunities to. Virus lifespan is very short, so that means they can keep improving themselves. Just like we try to improve ourselves, they can try to keep improving ourselves. So as long as they're spreading, they're going to improve themselves. Then, so if you don't, you're not comfortable with the vaccine, then do whatever else you can. Wash your hands, wear your mask, minimize big gathering and crowds for the benefit of all beings. Those of us who are healthy, maybe we're not so threatened, but try to remember there are many others who have compromised immune system. They are in harm's way more than us. So this is how we practice bodhicitta. So have a good day, have a good evening. Thank you so much. Tata.